sitting at home, channel hopping, you've come across Motors TV in this programme, the Orney Company Super 1 British Karting Championships, and you're thinking, what's that all about? Well, this is Super 1. The biggest grid in the championship this season is for TKM Extreme. Just 9 took part last year. 52 have turned up this weekend. And earlier I caught up with the championship leader. Matt, your first year in TKM Extreme, fantastic first round for you. 52 drivers taking part this weekend. How excited are you, moving up from juniors into seniors, to see 52 here this weekend, including former British champions and British Open champions?
It is pretty awesome, to be honest. Like, there's so many good drivers out here. You could have a really good race, and it's just a lot of fun out there. Like, you can overtake loads more. I feel the racing's like a lot better, harder, which like suits my style.
And Glanigor's Park this weekend, of course, one of the most popular circuits on the calendar. Most popular for you?
Yeah, I really enjoy this track. Like, we've got quite good speed here. The only problem I find around here is it's quite easy to defend, so up the hill, because the toes, like, so good down here. Everyone's kind of hugging the white line, so the overtaking is quite hard this weekend, so it's quite good.
And you've got the championship lead at the moment. Obviously you want to go out of here with the championship lead if you can, but what's the most important thing from your point of view? Just to have a good weekend?
Yeah, just get really high points, like as high points as I can, top 5 finishes hopefully, and then just keep that going through the season, and then consistency should hopefully pay off.
Lots of rookies in the championship every season, and a few years ago we would have seen a new name racing in the series, but for a tragic incident that left him struggling for his life. Earlier I spoke to Miles Murphy.
I remember coming up to the road, looking left and looking right, clear to cross, started walking through, then you glanced to your left and saw these bright flashing lights. This driver's come flying around the corner, completely mows me down essentially, landing the other side of the road. The injuries I sustained from that was shattered upper humerus, broken collarbone, shattered eye socket, a lacerated eyelid, which had to be immediately operated on to reattach, bruised kidney, and all over road rash.
But apart from those injuries, you were okay?
Yeah, apart from that, I was all fine. Apart from that, we found out later it was a drunk driver. It was in a hit and run. Luckily, they caught the woman later. She went to trial from there. She got what we consider was quite a lenient sentence for it, but that's another matter, really.
Okay, well, anyway, nice to see you back. You made your return last week at Super 4. Unfortunately, some mechanical issues mean you can't race this weekend. You were planning on racing, but you've not managed to do that. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about your business, which is helmet design. Now, helmets and helmet painting has always fascinated me as a subject. You're only 23. How did you get into that as a business?
Well, I first started getting into it, really, I was about 15, 16. I always wanted my own helmet design, so I started drawing out on a piece of paper, scanned them into the computer, and then edited them in Photoshop. As time went along, did it more and more, got more experienced, started doing them purely in Photoshop, then into Vector, so they got really high quality as they are now. Managed to get a few big clients on board, which really helped enhance my audience. Now we've done probably say like 80-90% of the grid in Super 1 have got designs by us. We've expanded since into we do all like the kart stickers, got like all the truck designs, the awning designs, the websites. So our portfolio is quite big now, the portfolio, so expanded quite a lot from what was basically a simple pencil job to get my own helmet design and fund my karting, really.
Okay, and karting-wise, obviously not racing this weekend. I think you're going to be racing the next few rounds. I think the next round we're filming for KZ1 will be Shennington. What are you hoping for this season? It's obviously a very short championship. Unfortunately, a few political things going on with tyres has meant that the grid is not what we would have hoped it would be. But what are you hoping for?
Well, mainly this year is going to be a full getting back into it. I mean, we tried to come back to it last year, but literally it was still too soon. I had a very good winter, get myself much fitter, much physically up to the job. So now essentially get back into the rounds, be on the pace, and essentially we'll go from there. The main thing is really I can't give high expectations. It's a hard class anyway that I originally did find quite hard to transition into. So one step at a time, aiming for hopefully decent point scores, and then into next year, hopefully knock on the door of the higher places.
Well, a quick look at the virtual map of Glanigorse Park here. The first corner is Club Corner. The Dragon Straight's 220 metres. The right-hander is blind. That's the Spoon. Left-handed down Damon Hill. The Carousel, the double apex at the bottom of the hill. Brings you to the three right-handers at the Compression Complex, Devil's Elbow, and through the final turn. That's Paddock Bend. Here's Jake with the highlights from the KZ1 class. Just 5 turned up.
Yes, indeed, and Alan spoke earlier on of the tyre wranglings that's decimated the field for this first of 3 rounds in the MSA KZ1 National Championship. But 5 strong drivers battling over the victories, 2 heats and 2 finals, of course, and 3 different winners over the course of the weekend. Dan Kelly, John Pike and Scott Allen, and that was before we got to this final race. John Pike on the Octane chassis with a Modena engine trying to get one over on Scott Allen on the Gold chassis with the iArmy gearbox engine. The Birrell TM of Dan Kelly, the ART Rotax of former MSA Formula driver Josh Smith, and Hannah Lang's Tony Kart Vortex made up the field, but it was all about the 2 drivers up front. The early tussle for 3rd position between Dan Kelly and returnee to the Super 1 paddock Josh Smith was worth a watch, with Josh giving it absolutely everything to get back into the top 3, having previously been in MSA Formula during the 2015 season. He's now back into the karting world and hoping to take a national title or 2. It could even be the MSA KZ1 National Championship, particularly with these 2 up front, John Pike and Scott Allen, scrapping away. And there is Scott Allen on the Gold iArmy machine, having an absolutely cracking battle with John Pike. His local knowledge, by the way, coming into play big style here at Glanigorse Park. The Welshman knows this place like the back of his hand, and having done plenty of miles, he knew exactly where to go for broke. Later into the race, the former Lotus chassis driver banzaied up the inside after Club Corner and used the inside line of the Dragon Straight to perfect effect, shut the door for turn 2, and that was the race-winning move. He controlled the pace through to the checkered flag, and it was great to see John Pike take the final flourish ahead of his rival Scott Allen. That's all from the KZ1. We're back after the break with the first of our iArmy Cadet races. It's the pre-final coming up.